theme for this year's International Women's Day is Be Bold for Change, and that is the theme of my speech. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in medieval times, a woman who killed her husband was not guilty of just murder. She was guilty of petty treason because she had betrayed someone superior to her. Her punishment was to be drawn and burnt alive. In comparison, a husband who murdered his wife was hanged. Why was the woman's crime worse than the man's? Because she threatened the established social order in which each person had and knew their place. He, by killing his wife, did not threaten that order. The law was changed in 1828, and 4 years later, the Reform Act of 1832 gave the vote to 300,000 more people, but none of them were women. Between 1870 and 1904, women's suffrage was debated in this House 18 times. Every vote on the matter from 1886 onwards showed a majority of MPs voted in favour of allowing women the vote, but we did not get it until 1918. And I just want to read out some of the arguments that were put forward for us not to receive the vote, because these arguments are ones we probably hear when we're going about our business delivering public service. The arguments were that women are by nature subordinate to men. Men are made for public life, women for private. Allowing women to vote, heaven forbid, allowed them to think that one day they could become MPs. An idea that self-evidently was absurd. Only men should legislate for women because only men know what is good for women. We have no grievances. If we do, they can easily be put right by men. Politics would get women overexcited and lead to nervous breakdowns. If they had the vote, they would be pestered on polling day. But political parties themselves had their own motivations. For the Labour Party, votes for women would just enfranchise more of the propertied classes. For the Conservatives, women voting would lead to socialism. And for the Liberals, women were too conservative by nature, and the Liberals would therefore lose elections. Not everything has changed, Mr. Speaker, but some things have changed, and I just wanted to put on record the women that we must acknowledge who have been in this place before us. The first female MP to take her seat was elected in 1919. We got our first female cabinet minister in 1929, our first female Prime Minister in 1979, and our first female Speaker, the legendary Baroness Boothroyd, in 1992. And yesterday, in 2017, when my honourable friend, the member for Copeland, was sworn in, we got our 456th female MP, finally surpassing the number of male MPs sitting in this House, and it's taken close to 700 years for us to get to that stage, and we have a long way to go. We're just at 30% of this chamber having women to men. We're behind Italy, Germany and Norway, including Rwanda. And the one message I want to send out today, that if any young girl and woman is listening and she wants to enter politics, is for her to hear loud and clear that everyone in this House will welcome them wholeheartedly. From the medieval age to now, we have the technical age. We are among the first generation of parliamentarians who have to deal with modern technology and the access it gives to with the public to their politicians. And those of us who know social media know what it's like to occasionally turn onto Twitter and Facebook and see a barrage of abuse from trolls. These are faceless and nameless cowards, and they need to be called out and challenged. And I would ask the Minister, when she reaches the dispatch box, what more can be done to put pressure on social media companies and such platforms in encouraging them to take down hate and abuse that is focused on women just because of their gender, their faith or their heritage. I also think it would be a grand day when all the women in this House, when they saw a fellow female parliamentarian being abused for just because of who she was, that we all went onto social media and drowned out that particular hate. I want to finish by thanking some of the female leaders in and around my constituency. In East Sussex, 5 of our 8 MPs are women, my right honourable friend, the member for Hastings and Rye, my honourable friends for Eastbourne and Lewis, and the honourable member for Brighton Pavilion and myself. We also have a female Chief Executive of the County Council, Becky Shaw, and a female Police and Crime Commissioner, Katie Bourne, and dozens of fantastic female councillors at county and district level who have mentored me and are inspiring leaders within their own communities. They are the ones who show each and every day that politics is very much the business of women.